Hello everyone, I am Dr. Jyoti Mandala. Welcome you all to the video lecture series on the course Web Programming. So, as part of this web programming course, I have designed this course into two modules. The first module talks about the front end development, and the second module talks about the back end development. So, in this lecture, I want to give you a brief introduction about HTML5, which is a one type of front end development tool. So before going to learn about this HTML5, I want to throw some light on what actually this internet is and what is www is. I hope you all are clear, you all know about what actually an internet is and www, but still let us have a quick introduction about this one. Now you all are familiar like what is internet. Internet is nothing but where uh, number of computers are connected together, which is forming a network, and using that network, uh, we will be these computers will be communicating with each other. So in this group of network, some computers are called as clients and some computers are called as servers. Okay, and this internet connects this whole world together, so where communication can happen. Okay, so if you can see here, there is a definition mentioned here. The definition states the internet is a connected global network of interconnected computers enabling users to share information along multiple channels. Now, who is governing this internet? Who is taking care of this internet? So there should be a board or there should be a team of people who should take care of all these internet tasks and all. So the first team, that is YAB, who meets regularly and reviews the standards and protocols that has to be taken care for relating to this internet. Along with that, there is another organization which is called as Internet Engineering Task Force. They also will take care of any technical problems arises or any operational problems arises. So they will be taking care of all these things, right? So now, what is the difference between the internet and www? So, in brief, I'll tell you in simple language, I'll tell you if you consider a bookstore, then that bookstore is called as an internet. And if you consider collection of books in that store, then it is called as a web, right? So, in other words, you can tell web is a subset of the internet. And if you want to access the web, then that accessing to the web is done through a application which is called as a web browser that has to be there in your computer. So web is a way of accessing the information over the internet through the web browser. And the links the link through which you are connecting to the internet is called as hypertext. I hope I'm making you sense, right? So these are some of the differences between the internet and World Wide Web, and you can see the timeline of the internet that has been evolved. First one has been evolved in 1965, and later on, as the things goes on, if you can see, the first worldwide area network has been developed in 1965, and then in 1969, the first version of internet has been released, which is called as ARPNet. Okay, and then the first board of internet has come in 1974. Later on many things has come into picture, right? And in 2000 you can see, so the 300 million people around the world are officially on the internet in 2000. Now if you see in 2002, 5 million people are around, are online. Why? Because nowadays everything is through online only, everything is through internet only, right? So this is the timeline of the internet. And you can see the history of web development, like what are all the frameworks, what are all the tools that are that are required to design any application that has to be put on the web. You are right. So if you want to design any application, and that application, to design that application, what are all the tools or what are all the programming languages or what are all the frameworks that are required, that has been projected in this slide. I want you to concentrate on this HTML5 only, because I am going to talk as a first module of this web programming course. I want to talk about HTML5. And you can see when this HTML5 has evolved, it has been evolved in 2011. Before HTML5, so many versions of HTML is available. But we are going to learn the latest version, that is HTML5. I'll tell you what are all the differences between the earlier version of HTML and this version of HTML, right? Okay, now you can see different types of web browsers that have been evolved throughout the time. What is the use of this web browser is? Web browser is nothing but an application that is available in your computer through which you can connect to the internet and you can browse an application that is available on the internet. So you can see different types of applications or different types of web browsers are available. So you can see the famous one we are mostly using to this Chrome, which has come in 2008, and then you can see this is the Opera one, which has come designed in 1996, and then Netscape Navigator is one type of browser which has designed in 2003. Firefox 2004, Google Chrome browser, which is in 2012, like that. So there are different types of browser from time to time by different organization. Different browsers are available. Some examples are like Internet Explorer. You can see in 1995 it has come, like that. And then now I want to tell you what is the difference between browser and a web server. Web browser is nothing but an application that is available, or as in other word you can tell, an application software which has been installed into your computer or into your mobile phone, through which whoever is using that application, they are referred as clients. And if you want to connect to the google.com, then in that browser you are going to write www.google.com, right? Now this is called as a request. Now that request will be taken by the browser. That browser can be any browser. I have shown you in the previous slide different types of browsers are available. Any browser it can be. Now this browser will take that request and that will be converted into a binary sequence, and then that will be given to the router. And this router, what it will do, it will send that one as a response, as a request to the server in where the application for this google.com is available. Okay, now that will run that application and that output will be sent as a response, and you will get that page of google.com displayed on your computer screen, right? So how that is going to happen, how that front end screen has been designed, and how that server will be connecting to our browser, everything we are going to learn. But this is an introduction class. Just understand the basic thing, how it is going on through the web browser, where the client will be sitting in front of the computer. The client will be giving requesting for the application, and the application will be sent by the browser to the router, and then the router will be sending that to the web server. Web server will be located somewhere else geographically. We don't know where it is located. There one computer will be there which is called as a server. I'll tell you in simple language. Web browser is nothing but which clients can see. Web server is nothing but the client cannot see that one, but the application is available here. Okay. Now, web development. What is nothing but web development? Web development is nothing but it refers to a process of creating, building, and maintaining the websites. What is nothing but website? Website is nothing but an application that can be accessed through the internet. That is called as a website. And website consists of different pages. If you consider one text, one book, that is called as a website, and multiple pages in that book are called as web pages. In case of website, it is called as a web pages, right? Now the way web development course refers to the process of creating, building, and maintaining of those websites. In this it includes the aspect of web designing, web publishing, web programming, and database management. Also, how we are going to do this, all these things you are going to learn in future. In future videos you are going to learn these things, right? Now web is nothing but a web page or a website or anything that works over the internet. Development is nothing but refers to the it is refers to the process of building an application from the scratch. Nothing is available, you are going to develop an application, and if it works over the internet, then it is referred as a web application. Okay, so we are going to learn through during this module, we are going to learn how to develop a web application, which includes front end and back end. Okay, so front end is nothing but which is visible to the user. Backend is nothing but where you are going to store the data. Right now, if you can see for developing the front end, which way the user interacts directly, let us consider if you want to type, if you want to search for something, computer word you want to search, then in the Google's, if you type www.googlesearch.com, you will get a page, and that page is called as a front end page. And to design such kind of front end page, which refers to the client side of the application, there are different applications available. You can see on the slide HTML, CSS, JavaScript, AngularJS, jQuery, React.js. All these things are used to develop a front-end application. Okay, so as a first module, I will be making you understand how HTML can be used. Throughout the journey of learning this course, I will be concentrating on CSS, also on JavaScript and jQuery. So these are the main topics that I'm going to concentrate. If let us hope in React.js also I will include. Right. So this is about front end development frameworks, which helps us in designing the pages that from which the user interacts. How it is going to happen, we are going to understand in future. Next one is backend development. Backend development refers to the server side of the website. I have shown you one diagram where client is there and server is there. And if you backend development totally is under the control of the server, where in that we are going to store and arrange the data. And how that can be done, if you are storing the data uh, using some database tech approaches. Now how this front end or how this server can be connecting to the database, we are going to learn. So if you can see on this slide, multiple frameworks are also available for doing that, like PHP, Node.js, Python, Java, all these things are there. So we are going to learn PHP and Node.js as part of this course. And here I'm not going to concentrate on about how this one database can be created, that you can learn as part of DBMS course. But here, hoping like the database is existing, how your application can connect to the database, we are going to understand. Right. Okay. Now, what kind of softwares are required to develop or to start with the HTML? So you can see here, I want to show you, we are going to learn about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, React.js, PHP, and this one, Node.js. So as a first part component, I am going to concentrate on the HTML. Right. So now to develop the HTML document, what kind of HTML editors are available? There are different types of HTML editors are available. You can adopt any one like NetBeans, Notepad, or you can go with the brackets. Anything is okay. You can go with anything. The but what is the difference? Why we have different versions? You can see if you're going with the textual HTML editors, this the here the how the process is, you need to open one notepad. Let us consider you have opened one notepad, you will be typing your code here, but the output cannot be seen here. Whenever you type any code, here I have reflected some dummy code. This is not a HTML code, this is C++ code. But in if you are opening a notepad and you are typing the code, and if you want to check how it is working, how your front end designing looks like, then you need to go back to the browser and check the output. But we have the other ways of editors, like what you see is what you get, where you will be typing your code here and parallelly you can see how it will look. On the same place, you can type the code here and you can see the output. Either ways, you can go with this first way, where you type the code here, save it and open the browser and check the output, or else you can type here and parallelly you can check the output. Either ways, you can go with this one, whatever is flexible for you. So during this course, sometimes I'll be using the first approach and sometimes I'll be using the second approach. Okay, now let us understand little bit introduction about this HTML. So future videos, in coming videos, I will be talking about complete front-end designing using this HTML. Now, what is this HTML stands for? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, what do you mean by hyper? Hyper is nothing but a link. Why? I think you all have used the internet, and whenever you want to connect to the any application in the internet, you should have a link for that one, isn't it or not? So that is called as hyper. And text is nothing but data transformation. Markup is nothing but a predefined language, and then language is nothing but communication. So hypertext markup language is nothing but link through which information can be shared and using predefined communication. I hope it makes sense. Now, one important thing you all need to remember is HTML is not a programming language. Here, we are not going to give any logical solution to a problem. Here, our main concentration is to design one front end page. That's it. That means we are like this HTML is called as a markup language, which is it is not a programming language. We are not going to give a solution to a problem, right? Now, if you can see what are all the different versions of HTML from time to time, what how it has been evolved here. The first HTML is designed in 1991, and then we had in 1994 HTML2, and in 1996 a new concept called cascading style sheets has been added to the um, HTML. We are going to learn what is that one, but first we will be learning about HTML5, and then we will see cascading style sheets. And in the same year JavaScript is also added to the HTML5. So as in you can see the evolution of this one. In 2005 HTML5 has come. Now as and when a new version comes, a new feature will be added to that one, right? Now, the main people behind the development of this HTML5 is World Wide Web Consortium. This is called as W3C, and you have a Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group. These two teams will be taking care of this HTML5. And as and when, if you can see one example, I'll tell you, adding a video or audio onto a web page can be easily done in HTML5. In HTML4, if you want to do that one, and plugins has to be installed, like Adobe Flash and all. But HTML5, we can do that one very easier way. How we can do that one, I'll tell you. Okay, now what are all the browsers that are supporting HTML5? If you are using Chrome, Chrome 4 and above versions will use that one. Earlier versions may not support this one. So you can see if you are using Internet Explorer, ninth version of Internet Explorer will work. And Microsoft Edge, if you are using 12th version and above browsers will work, right? Now, what is some differences between HTML and HTML5? I will just throw the some differences here. One difference I already told you, audio, video, if you want to add any audio or video, that means whenever you're opening any page, one website you have opened, and immediately after opening the website, you want one audio to play or you want one video to play. Now, if you are going with HTML earlier versions, then it is not supported there, but in HTML5, it can be done easily by using the predefined tags called audio and video. I'll tell you what actually tag and all is nothing but. And also geographical location is not possible in the earlier versions. Now, geographical location is possible. How that can be done, we are going to learn. And no need of plugins, external plugins is not required in HTML5. And the whenever you are writing the code, then here the doc type declaration is very lengthy here in earlier versions of HTML, but here in HTML5 it is very simple. We need to write a simple statement like this. Now what is this doc type and all we are going to learn, don't worry. Right, now these are all the features of HTML5 which is specific for HTML5 only. Earlier versions are not supporting that one. I'll repeat again, audio and video can be done. Canvas can be done. Canvas is nothing but a two-dimensional surface will be provided to you where you can draw your own things, and that can be done by using JavaScript. Next one is geographical location of sharing your physical location is in your web application can be easily done in HTML5, which is not there earlier. Microdata like your own customized semantics can be created here. We are going to learn all these things, how to do that one, but these are all the features of You need to remember. Drag and drop, like you have the elements added. One element can be dragged and dropped to another location on the same web page. That can also be done. Semantic elements like header, footer, section. That means your complete page will be divided into header, footer, and sections, so that you can apply some uh, um, uh, what effects individually to each and every part. That can be done. Forms, it's a forms 2.0 is available in 5.0. What is this form and all we are going to learn. And then web sockets, servers and events, persistent storage, all are features of HTML5. Now, I'll show you the basic structure of HTML5. You can see multiple sections are available here. The first section represents the document type. Here, this is very important. This section talks like what type of document it is. This is not case sensitive. Okay. And this is the starting tag, which tells you are going to start the HTML code. Always remember, HTML is a tag based language. That's why it is called as hypertext markup language. Everything is tag based. That means what is tag, I'll tell you, but understand this is the predefined tag. You need to start with this tag and you need to end with this tag. This is the ending tag. And in between these, the HTML starting and closing tag, you have two parts. First part is called as information about your HTML document, which can be told in the head part. Okay, and the second part is called as a body tag. This talks about the main content of your HTML, like what are all the elements to be displayed to you. Like if you open your Google search, you will have one text box displayed there. Now that displaying of text box should be done in the body tag. Now whatever you want to display on your page, that has to be done through the body tag. Now the head tag will help us in telling about the information about your HTML tag, HTML document. Okay, now you can see here what is this UTF-8. UTF-8 is nothing but Universal Code Character Set. Now universally 8 UTF-8-bit transformation code will be used for this HTML coding purpose. So it is suggested we need to use this UT8 character set. Why it is used? Because to tighten the security and to prevent from the types of the attacks, different types of attacks. Right. Now, you need to understand the basic terminology that we are going to use frequently throughout this course is a tag, element, attribute. What are these things called? Tag is nothing but the name of the tag. You can see we have hundreds of thousands of tags available in the HTML. Predefined tags are available. So, every tag will have the angle bracket like this, less than and greater than. In between, the tag name will be given. Okay, now element is nothing but between the opening and closing. Whenever you want to close tag, you need to put a backward slash here. So opening tag and closing tag, in between whatever text you write, that is called as the element of that tag. Now what is called as attribute? Attribute is nothing but properties. Now before going to talk about the attributes, I will just want to tell you one more thing. You can see for this title tag, you have opening tag and closing tag. But there are another type of tags also available where there is no closing tag available. Okay, the tag which contains opening tag and closing tag is called as a paired tag, and the tag which is containing only opening tag is called as unpaired tag. This BR tag is called as a break tag, for which no closing tag is required. That means no element is required for this BR tag. Now coming to the attribute. Attribute is nothing but if you want to give some additional information, like the properties you want to set. All those things can be done by using this attribute. Now how that can be done, for which tags, for different tags, different attributes are there. We are going to understand that one. But you need to remember, for attribute consists of name and a value. Okay. Now whenever you are assigning a name and a value, you need to assign the value to that name by using the equal to symbol. Okay, one simple example you can see, h1 tag will have an attribute called id, and the name I am giving, value I am giving id first. Okay, and this is called element and this is called as a closing tag. Okay, right? All right. So the same thing has been reflected here. The HTML tag will have a less than and greater than symbol, and whatever you are writing between the opening tag and closing tag, it is called as an element, and additional information will be given through the attributes. So tags are of two types. What are the two types? You can have container tags, where container tags will have opening tag and a closing tag. Second type of tag is called empty tag, which is having only opening tag. There is no closing tag is there. So in future we are going to learn different types of tags, where while learning that one, whether it comes under container tag or empty tag, I am going to tell you at that time. Right. So with this, we'll come to an end of today's lecture, which is about introduction to HTML5. From the next lecture onwards, we are going to learn in detail about, I am going to talk about 10 to 15 tags, which we are going to frequently use that one. So all those tags in detail, hands-on also we are going to learn through hands-on. I hope this lecture is clear to you all. Let us all meet in the next lecture. Until then, thank you all of you.